Hi, and thanks for your interest in G128. This is a short video just to explain a few aspects about our G128 group. We talk about what is G128, who are the types of people that are involved in it, and what results are they seeing from it, what to expect when you're becoming a member of G128, and at the end there's an opportunity to schedule a private consultation. No obligation, of course, just to have a private chat about your specific business and how G128 may be able to help you. First of all, what is G128? G128 is a multiple groups of entrepreneurs and engineers, business owners, CEOs, pretty much from all walks of business. If I look at the kinds of people that are involved in it, as we speak, you've got chiropractic, naturopathy, you've got lawyers, accountants, advertisers or advertising agency. You've really got a broad spectrum. We've even got all the way through to a private equity fund owner. So there's a very good broad group of people. This group is not about the individual expertise of any one person. There's not a person that is the business expert. What it is the power of a crowd, or the power of crowdsourcing, and you'll see that that's becoming more important in what you see in the media. There's the websites like Kickstarter and some of the innovation sites that are funding sites. So you're looking at the power of a crowd in order to fund you. Well, that tells you a lot of things. If a bunch of people are going to fund your idea, it's like the best way to find out whether your idea is one that's going to work. And so having our groups as they are, and they're multiple groups, each of the groups is about 14 people, and you will stay with the same group throughout your life with G128. We have 4 meetings per year, and we hold them in various cities. At the moment, they're held in the Gold Coast. It's just deemed by the groups that are involved at the moment that it's easier simply to fly from anywhere in Australia to the Gold Coast. Flights are relatively cheap, accommodations relatively cheap. But one of those meetings is held overseas, and we will obviously continue to move those locations around for the overseas stint. Again, we're aiming at places that are overly expensive to go to, but have some strategic significance. There is a G128 Asia, which meets in places like Singapore, Hong Kong, etc. But I'm just speaking generally as G128 is multiple groups of about 14 people that get together. The way the groups are run is it's typically, each of the meetings is 2 days. We don't chew up all of the 2 days. Of course, all of the food is catered for, the morning tea, etc. We generally have a long, beautiful lunch, and that's catered for, and we're adjourned down to a bar, have some cocktails. A lot of the good conversation, of course, always occurs at the bar, but the whole of the meeting is basically an open dialogue. There is a structure to it. I'm not going to go into the structure specifically right now, but it allows for each member to present. They have some time, some reasonable amount of time to present some of the issues that you may have in, say, the last 90 days. So, generally everyone updates and says how they've gone in the last 90 days. The rest of the group can make commentary on that, but when the real power is when you present an issue or something that you want to have the group's input in, and that can be anything. And sometimes some of the members have just had a fantastic quarter, and so they don't really have anything to really talk about. But what happens inevitably is one of the other members will ask them a very a very pointed question. This group is around the brutal truth and honesty, and as a consequence, a lot of our members have made some quantum changes in their business. There's nothing like other people holding you up on your own bullshit. And I say that kindly, of course, with no means to offend, but you're generally, in your business, you probably don't seek outside help, and inside the business, no one's really going to tell you the truth. You may not even tell the truth to yourself, and about some of the actual problems that are going on. And when you get a group of people like the G128 together, people inevitably want to help each other. And so it's not about, I'm going to try and sell you something. We in fact say here in the group that don't look at the other members as sales prospects, but look at them as partners, because those people you can confide in. It's all obviously secure. We don't record anything. Everything that's in the room stays in the room. But here's people that have lived it and done it. Now, you may ask, and a few people have asked as to, well, what about the different levels of experience of people in the group? The experience levels vary from relatively new business owners, business leaders, and that's generally, we don't have that many. We tend not to let new businesses into the group. We tend to want to make sure that your business has some longevity. It's been running for a while. It's mostly profitable. Some of the businesses have made some changes of direction, so they may not be profitable on that, in that particular moment. But generally, we want to make sure that you, as the owner, have had some track record. Now, as a result, you've had some track record and some experiences that nobody else has had. And when you put 14 people together, you get 14 times more information. In fact, the multiplier is probably bigger than that. So when you say that you have a particular issue in your industry, in your business, generally what happens is you'll have 4 or 5 other people in the group immediately have had that same issue in their industry. And so suddenly you've got some thought starters. And look, the way that the groups have worked is that the changes in people's business and in their personal life has been unbelievable. Just to give you a couple of examples, I guess, one of the guys that came into the group initially said that he really didn't have a lot to talk about, not that many issues. He wanted to contribute more to others, and immediately had some people push him on some questions, and had found out that, in fact, the business he was in, he didn't really like. And with more conversation, he walked out with an action item of selling that business. He was effectively going to walk away from it, but he was, the rest of the group kind of pointed out where the value was. He packaged it up, and in the next quarter sold that business for real money, and has started a new one and into something that he wants to do. We've got other members who have, if there's one in particular that I can think of, that every time he gets new ideas, he's in implementation mode before the day's out. He offloads it to some of his staff and gets some of those ideas moving straight away. Now, a problem with entrepreneurs is not ideas. Generally, entrepreneurs have lots and lots of ideas. The problem is implementation of those ideas and picking the right ideas. So nothing beats coming to the group and saying, hey, I'm thinking of doing these things. And many of the people in our group have said exactly the same thing. They've come in and said, all right, I need a way of retaining more of my clients. So we talk about a retention strategy. And they say, right, this is the idea that I've got. And everyone turns around and says, well, that sucks. So there's nothing like honesty and brutal truth about having your ideas put out to the group and then providing input as to how they think that will go. Because the bottom line in everybody that's done that is generally their ideas wasn't necessarily a great one, and therefore the group came up with better ones. And people that have implemented those ideas have made immediate changes. So I guess to summarize that, what would you expect is you would expect clarity. clarity as to what you're aiming to do with the business, what how the business is being run, you would expect simplicity. So how to simplify, it's a chaotic world out there, so how to really boil it down to the 1 or 2 things you need to do, not the 20 things you need to do that really make the biggest difference. And as an example of before, having a group that is immediate, it's almost like an advisory board. It's like having immediate business, market research, business research. So the group really you should think of as it's a return on investment type strategy. This is something, and if you come to the group and you put down some thoughts as to what you are doing and what you want to achieve, you will get the fastest way. You'll get ideas, you'll get assistance, you'll get pointed networking wise to people who can help. That will accelerate what you do today. It's simply, I'd have to go through every single member and I could highlight effectively a case study on every single one of them because they've all made immediate and substantial changes. So that's kind of a summary of what the group is about. We do have a private Facebook group. It's simply available to throw up any ideas that you have or any immediate help you want in between meetings. But most of the time, everybody has mobile phone numbers, and you all know what everybody does. Therefore, if you're thinking that you need some input, say from an advertising perspective, you ring up the guy who runs the advertising agency, and he knows you intimately. He's not going to charge you. That's not the whole idea. He'll provide a quick view. If there's something that needs to go further, by all means, it's normal business commerce. But the advantage of having those people at your fingertips is second to none. What happens at the meeting overseas is all the groups come together. So you'll suddenly meet everybody else that's part of the G128 and start learning a few more things around how to internationalize your business. Because if you're not thinking international, then you're definitely putting a limitation on the growth of that business. So if you're committed to generating some results, and you are the key person in your business, then I invite you to apply for a consultation. If you go to the website on the slide here, g128.org, and at the bottom, and just fill in some basic details, one of the team will get back to you and we'll schedule a call. During that call, it'll go for about an hour and a half. You'll get some ideas that you can implement in your business straight away. But generally what we do is we go over what is your specific business. We understand, where are you at? What is it that you want to be able to do? So where do you want to get to? And if there's a fit, if G128 can help you, then I'll tell you that. If I think that G128 is not going to help you, then I'll tell you that as well. It's not a big deal. We have more than enough people in the group, but always we're looking to add, the right individuals, because the key to this group is to fit the right individuals into the group so they can assist and help everybody else. In turn, everybody else helps them. So I look forward to talking with you. If you think this is a good fit, go to g128.org and we'll talk soon. Thanks very much.